Before any of that, we now know the identities of 4 of the 6 people who died in a plane crash in Bangor last month. With more on that, Brittany McCatton joins us in studio. Brittany, what more can you tell us about the news that came out late this afternoon?
Well, Brian, while there's been no official word on identities until today, 5 of the victims had already been named by loved ones in the days following the crash. Today, we learned the name of the 6th person aboard the aircraft, 33-year-old Jordan Rydell, a pilot from Texas. The other victims, officially identified by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, are 46-year-old Tara Arnold and 47-year-old Jacob Hosmer, both also of Texas, and 34-year-old Shelby Kuyawa. That's all according to the Bangor Police Department. We have previously reported the other 2 victims were identified as Shauna Collins and Nick Mastroscusa, according to Houston's CBS affiliate KHOU. All 6 people aboard the Bombardier aircraft were killed when it crashed shortly after takeoff on the evening of January 25th. The plane was traveling from Houston to Paris when it stopped at Bangor International Airport to refuel and receive de-icing services. The NTSB is expected to release its preliminary report of the investigation later this month. We will continue to follow this story, Brian, as more information becomes